In today's episode of Earthspective, we take a sobering yet hopeful look at where people may be forced to flee from, and where they might find refuge in the next 3 decades. Some places are already becoming unlivable. Others, surprisingly, are preparing to welcome climate migrants with open arms. Geography, governance, water access, food security, and stability, they all matter. This is about the reshaping of humanity, and it's already begun. Let's take a closer look at the countries people may soon leave behind. Bangladesh. Bangladesh is on the front lines of climate change. With over 160 million people packed into low-lying delta regions, it's one of the most densely populated nations on Earth, and one of the most vulnerable. Rising sea levels threaten to swallow vast stretches of farmland and entire communities. Saltwater intrusion makes agriculture increasingly difficult, and frequent floods displace millions every year. Dhaka, the capital, is already one of the fastest growing cities due to rural migration, a sign of internal displacement. By 2050, it's estimated that 20 million Bangladeshis could be displaced by rising waters alone. Despite major adaptation efforts, like building flood-resistant homes and embankments, the scale of the threat is massive. The reality is this: many Bangladeshis won't be able to stay. They may seek refuge in India, Southeast Asia, or even further abroad. Climate migration will no longer be hypothetical. It will be personal. Pakistan. From catastrophic floods to record-breaking heat waves, Pakistan is increasingly a nation under climate siege. In 2022, 1/3 of the country was underwater after monsoon rains devastated infrastructure and agriculture. Just a year later, parts of the country reached nearly 50 degrees Celsius, 100 to 22 degrees Fahrenheit, in sustained heat waves. Water stress is another growing concern. Glacial melt in the north is accelerating, and downstream water supplies for millions are shrinking. Combine that with political instability and energy insecurity, and the picture becomes more urgent. Pakistan's youthful population will need jobs, stability, and safety. If these aren't available, many may seek opportunities elsewhere, especially across the Middle East, Europe, or North America. Climate will be a silent force driving this migration, even if it's rarely named as the cause. Honduras and the Central American Dry Corridor. Stretching through Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Honduras, the Dry Corridor has become ground zero for climate-linked displacement. Farmers can no longer rely on seasonal rains. Harvests fail. Food prices spike. Droughts are longer, and hurricanes like Ida and Iota have destroyed homes and livelihoods. Many families, especially from Honduras, have joined migrant caravans heading north toward the United States. While headlines often focus on crime and poverty, behind many of these journeys is a simpler truth: they can no longer grow food. This region faces a grim climate future. Without international investment and climate-resilient agriculture, the migration pressures will only grow. Sudan and the Sahel. In Africa's Sahel region, which stretches from Senegal to Sudan, a potent mix of desertification, conflict, and climate chaos is displacing millions. Sudan, in particular, faces internal war, failing crops, and intensifying drought. As the Sahara pushes southward, arable land becomes scarce. Nomadic and farming communities clash over resources. Desertification isn't just an environmental problem, but a geopolitical one. While armed groups exploit scarcity, families are forced into refugee camps, and even entire communities collapse. Many will look to Europe or southern Africa for refuge, but the journey is perilous. The Sahel may be one of the first places where climate-driven conflict becomes the norm. Vietnam's Mekong Delta. Vietnam is often praised for its economic growth, but its southern rice bowl, the Mekong Delta, is sinking. Rising seas and upstream damming reduce sediment flow. This means saltwater now intrudes deep into rice paddies. Farmers are being forced to abandon lands their families worked for generations. The Vietnamese government is investing heavily in dikes and water infrastructure, but some areas may be beyond saving. Ho Chi Minh City itself could be partially submerged by 2050. Expect both internal and international migration as people seek higher ground and more stable livelihoods. Small island states. Entire countries face potential extinction. In the Maldives, most islands sit just 1.5 meters above sea level. Kiribati, for example, has already purchased land in Fiji for future relocation, whereas Tuvalu already started archiving its national identity digitally in case its physical territory disappears. These island nations contribute almost nothing to global emissions, yet they're among the first to suffer. For their people, migration is about survival of culture and identity, not just safety. Canada. Canada may emerge as the ultimate climate haven. It has abundant fresh water, a stable democracy, and one of the largest reserves of arable land that could become even more productive as the climate warms. As northern regions thaw, cities like Edmonton and Winnipeg may see population booms. Canada is already preparing, with immigration targets exceeding 400,000 newcomers annually. While winters are harsh, the risk of extreme heat, hurricanes, or water stress is low. And with a high capacity for adaptation, Canada is positioned not just to survive climate change, but to grow. New Zealand. With its isolation, fertile land, and strong governance, New Zealand often tops the list of climate-secure nations. It has ample rainfall, a renewable energy grid, and a small population spread across resilient landscapes. It also ranks high in human development and democratic strength. Already it's attracting wealthy individuals planning climate retreats. But the nation is also thinking inclusively, investing in Maori-led climate strategies and regional cooperation. Germany and Scandinavia. Germany and its northern neighbors, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, are increasingly seen as climate havens. Their strong economies, stable governments, and advanced infrastructure make them attractive destinations for those fleeing both environmental disasters and political instability elsewhere. But what really stands out is their climate resilience. With temperate weather, abundant fresh water, and progressive urban planning, these countries are preparing for future shifts in population and climate. Cities like Hamburg, Stockholm, and Oslo are already adapting with green roofs, efficient transit systems, and long-term sustainability plans. And culturally, these countries also offer high standards of living, strong public health systems, and a generally welcoming stance on immigration, especially for skilled workers and climate-related asylum seekers. As warming trends continue, these regions could become even more central in the global reshuffling of people and priorities. Ireland. Ireland's mild climate, remote location, and open land make it an appealing climate migration destination. It's one of the few countries in Europe projected to experience fewer extreme weather events over time, thanks to its maritime climate. Ireland has also been investing heavily in green tech and sustainable agriculture, positioning itself as a leader in both climate adaptation and innovation. With low population density in many rural areas, there's potential for new communities to grow if infrastructure and housing can keep up. At the same time, Ireland's historical narrative as a place of emigration is starting to flip. With returning diaspora and incoming climate migrants, the island may soon become not just a haven, but a model of regenerative development in a changing world. Uruguay. Uruguay is quietly becoming a top choice for climate-conscious migration in the Southern Hemisphere. It has stable governance and progressive social policies. Beyond that, it's one of the best-prepared Latin American countries for climate change, with a diversified energy grid and ample water resources. Its climate is temperate, neither too hot nor too cold, and it's largely shielded from hurricanes, earthquakes, and wildfires. The country also leads in renewable energy, with over 95% of its electricity coming from renewable sources. And with immigration-friendly policies, especially toward remote workers and retirees, Uruguay presents an unusually attractive option for long-term relocation, without the intensity or instability of many nearby countries. Finland. Finland, with its lakes, forests, and advanced infrastructure, is increasingly recognized as one of the safest places in a climate-disrupted future. It's high up on the Global Peace Index and consistently ranks as one of the happiest countries in the world. More importantly, Finland is planning ahead. The country has invested in resilient housing, digitized public services, and innovative energy systems that can withstand both harsh winters and unexpected climate shifts. Urban areas like Helsinki are already testing solutions for sea level rise and heat adaptation. And while Finland's winters are cold, warming trends could make its long, dark seasons more livable. Combined with strong education and healthcare systems, Finland may evolve from being remote to being ideal for climate-stable, high-quality living. Climate migration isn't just about changing borders, it's about changing lives. The next 30 years will redefine how we think about citizenship, identity, and belonging. We'll see internal migration, from farms to cities, from coasts to mountains. We'll see families divided across continents. We'll see cultures uprooted and reborn. And we'll also see resilience, people adapting, communities rebuilding, nations rising to meet the challenge. Migration is not failure, it's survival. But whether it becomes a global tragedy or a new opportunity depends on the choices we make today. Do we build walls? Or do we build bridges? So, where will people go when the world gets harder to live in? The answer isn't simple, but it is coming. Some countries will lose millions, others will welcome them. Geography, policy, and compassion will decide what that future looks like. And what about you? If things changed, where would you go? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this episode thought-provoking, give us a like, subscribe, and share. Because the future is already arriving. Slowly, silently, then suddenly. This was Earthspective. Until next time.